Welcome to the channel. This is where I bring you the stories, the conversations, and the moments that matter. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. This is South Africa Unfiltered, and we're just getting started. Fadiel Adams said he went to Orlando to open a case. But the question is, how did he end up there in the first place? In his testimony, Adams explains that General Andre Lincoln advised him not to open a case in Cape Town, and even gave him a contact to assist him when he arrived in Johannesburg. Then there's Brown Mogotsi. Mogotsi was reportedly linked to crime intelligence, raising questions about the nature of his involvement and whether Adams knew who he was dealing with at the time. Adams says his interaction with Mogotsi was limited, and claims that he did not know that Mogotsi was connected to crime intelligence. So who connected the dots? And how much did Adams really know? Let's get back to the testimony.
Now, when you then go and you open the cases in Orlando, how do you know to go there? I mean, I know why you're going to another province. You're going to Gauteng because General Lincoln says to you, don't do it in Cape Town, you must do it in another province. So you decide to go to Gauteng. How do you end up choosing Orlando?
I went to Orlando because it's one of the police stations I know, because whenever we drive past that side, that stands out. I'm not from Johannesburg. For instance, if you were to come to Cape Town, you'd have probably heard of Grand Central Police Station. You might have heard about Manenberg Police Station. No, there isn't a Manenberg Police Station, sorry. Mitchell's Plain Police Station. But chances are you wouldn't have heard of Steenberg Police Station, Ocean View Police Station. So it's a question of, I wouldn't say familiarity, but maybe it's a beacon.
So you fly to Johannesburg, to Gauteng, you go to Orlando, and you're going on your own there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you get there, what happens?
Now, this is the part that, and I think I'm going to irritate you with this. We're worried about our dockets disappearing again. I am sent a contact by Andre Lincoln. The contact's name is Elvis. He says to me, when you're close to the police station, call. He'll assist you. I get to the police station. I wasn't close. I was actually in the police station when I called Elvis. I almost imagine he happened to be outside. I almost imagine. Maybe the cameras can confirm. And he led me inside, and I'm thinking, did he take my doc? Did he take my statement, or did he? This is going back 2 years. Did he take my statement, or did he take me to an investigator, to a constable? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we can check in the docket.
And who's Elvis? Is he a police officer?
I saw him that once. He's a colonel, because they addressed him as colonel. I saw him that once, never saw him again.
Okay.
Did you know him before?
No.
Before that day?
No. I received his contact on the morning, because I was just going to go to the police station. On the morning, General Lincoln sends me that, and he says, speak to this guy when you get there. First he asked me, are you still going to Orlando? I said, yeah. He said, speak to this guy.
Okay, so General Lincoln knew you were going to go to Orlando specifically. Okay. Go to page...
Is he the one that said you must go to Orlando? How do you pick Orlando?
I said I was going to. You know, it's one of the police stations that I would know in Joburg. I wouldn't know many others.
So you had been to this police station before?
I had met someone there before.
You had been to?
I had met someone there before. I have some family members in Joburg, and I was lost one day, and I was told, meet me at Orlando police station. That it was that kind of situation.
Ms. Lube, maybe this is a good time to ask my question. Mr. Adams, there was a lot of activity in December 2024. And a lot of it involved Mr. Brown Mogotsi assisting people with opening cases in Soweto. Did you, by any chance, speak to Mr. Brown Mogotsi around November, December 2024?
General Lincoln was in contact with Mr. Brown Mogotsi, who he told me was someone that was close to the minister, something that I now know to be a lie, not from General Lincoln's side. I had met Mr. Mogotsi, not met, spoken to Mr. Mogotsi, sorry, on the phone once.
Take it slow. When did you speak to Mr. Mogotsi?
I couldn't tell you if it was November of 2024 or December of 2024 or January of 20, but I had spoken to him on the phone once.
Because almost every case that is opened in Soweto relating to our terms of reference somehow has Mr. Mogotsi's fingerprints. So listening to you, I suspected that you end up in Orlando because that was Mr. Mogotsi's idea, and I could be completely wrong. That's why I needed you to ask the question so that you can assist us. What was Mr. Brown Mogotsi's involvement in you ending up opening these cases and opening them in Soweto? And what was his communication with you and Mr. Lincoln?
From my side, there was no communication with Mr. Mogotsi. Not on that issue. My communication with Mr. Mogotsi happened on the phone with Andre Lincoln regarding...
It was a three-way call.
No, I was at his house on the day. He was speaking to him.
You were at Mr. Lincoln's house?
I was at Mr. Lincoln's house.
And it was in November 2020?
I couldn't tell you that.
But it was before you opened these cases?
I didn't write down the date, if you understand what I'm saying. It was just a phone call.
I don't need the exact date. I need to know, was it before you opened the cases?
I think it was after, but I don't want to lie to you, Commissioner, so it's hard for me to say. It was just a phone call. It was just, I was sitting at the General's house. This gentleman phoned. He said to me, say hello to the Minister's friend, Brown.
And you were discussing crime intelligence issues?
No.
You were not?
Andre Lincoln, as I explained to the advocate earlier, had not been paid his pension.
Okay.
And he was complaining to Mr. Mogotsi that the minister was doing nothing about it and it was unfair. And my involvement in that conversation was, not even Mr. Mogotsi, I said, Brown, this is a good man, he served this country, this is not right. Okay. That was the conversation.
And that's where it ended?
That's where it ended.
And then did Mr. Lincoln say anything to you about Brown Mogotsi assisting to open the cases?
No, sir.
No, thank you.
Okay, go to page 3912 of 9B.
Same file?
Yes.
I have it.
3912 on file, in file 9B.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the witness statement of a witness that we refer to as witness G, who has been identified as so-called Mr. Brown Mogotsi, so-called handler. He's in crime intelligence.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's a colonel. And if you go to page 3918, this is part of his statement where he was asked about his relationship with Mr. Fadiel Adams. And he says, I have known Mr. Fadiel Adams while he was an activist prior to him being a member of parliament associated with the National Colored Congress. And he was asked your involvement in assisting Mr. Fadiel Adams to register a case in Orlando Police Station, including the type of allegations and or charges thereof. He says, Mr. Adams contacted me telephonically requesting assistance to open a case. I informed him that I would be in the vicinity of the Orlando precinct policing area the following day and that he could meet with me at the Orlando police station in the afternoon. The following day, when Mr. Adams arrived at the Orlando police station, I referred him to a detective and informed the detective to attend to Mr. Adams by taking his statement and or opening the case. I did not ask Mr. Adams the details or nature of the case he was opening. Now, do you know witness G?
This is the man that I described as Elvis.
Okay. And did he assist you in opening this case?
I called him. I did call him, but I think he's got his details wrong, the sequence of events. I called him, and I told him that I would be coming to the Orlando police station. I see he's saying that he would be in the vicinity. Maybe he was in the vicinity, but I told him I would be coming there. I see on the previous page that he's, I don't know if that's in, let me just check. Where's the sword now? Sorry about this. He says, I don't know, well, he doesn't say that he's a, no, I thought it said he was his handler. Sorry. But as I say, I contacted him when I was at the police station. I was at the police station. I thought he worked at the station.
Well, he says you contacted him before, so the day before.
No, ma'am.
Because he says the following day when you arrived at the Orlando police station, he referred you to a detective. So you had the discussion the day before.
No, ma'am. I called him on the day. I received his details at the airport, literally as I was getting into the Uber.
But he says that he's known you as an activist prior to you being a member of parliament.
Many people know me, ma'am, because of my activism. I've been on TV many times because of Gatful Capetonian and the National College Congress. I do not know this man. I've seen him once at the police station on the day. If he's inferring that we know each other, we don't know each other.
So it was him that chose the Orlando police station, not you?
No, ma'am, it was me.
So he's lying?
I wouldn't call him a liar because I don't know him well enough. I think he's got his details mixed up. It was a long time ago. I called him and I told him I'm at the Orlando police station. I should have called you earlier. He said, no, it's fine, I am here.
And you say he called you, or you called him because you got his details from General Lincoln?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I thought, the way I see it, he and General Lincoln knew each other. General Lincoln said to him, listen here, we've got a serious case. The dockets are disappearing. Can you assist? I don't know if General Lincoln told him I'm coming to Orlando. I don't know any of that. I was going to Orlando. I called him when I was there. He was there. And now that you've mentioned it, or now that he said it, I'm still unsure myself if it was he that took the statement or if he assigned me to someone. But he says that he assigned me to a detective and we can check in the docket.
And did you know that, so are you saying that you only spoke to him that one time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and never again?
Never again.
And never before?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you wouldn't be aware that he has a long-standing relationship with General Khan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you wouldn't know that him and General Khan are friends?
I didn't ask any of that, ma'am.
And did you know at the time when you spoke to him that he was Mr. Mogotsi's handler?
I suspected that I saw something like that. That's why I went looking for it. I did not know. Remember, at that time, the country didn't know that Brown Mogotsi was I don't know if he is a CI, but the country didn't know it. I had been introduced on the phone to this man, and afterwards, well, before, sorry, I was told this man is close to the minister. I'm assuming he's a person of influence. I didn't know he's a CI.
And when you met with the IDAC officials and they asked you about this, what did you tell them when you were asked by Ms. Ramsamy about going to Orlando? Why did you pick the Orlando police station and whether you had any contacts there?
I would need to listen to the recording to confirm that. It was a long time ago.
Okay. She did ask you that question specifically. Would you have told her about the person that you refer to as Elvis?
I'd need to listen to the recording first.
Okay, we'll listen to the recording. But so what you're saying is that it is coincidence that the person who assisted you with opening these dockets in Orlando is also a person who is from Crime Intelligence, a friend of General Khan, the handler of Mr. Brown Mogotsi, who has an association with Minister Mchunu, who you complained to the very next day about your missing dockets?
I am low-key surprised by some of it. Not that much surprises me about the SAPs these days. I have no association with General Khan. I've seen him at a dinner that was organized for Imtiaz Suleiman. I don't know where I fit into all of that. My relationship with Elvis is based on a WhatsApp contact that I was sent by my person. Whether they knew each other, whether General Lincoln knew General Khan on a personal level, I don't know. He spoke of General Khan on and off. I've got nothing to do with any of that.
So, if I understand it, General Lincoln, who was a retired general at the time, had so much knowledge about what was happening within crime intelligence that he was feeding you this information?
I would say yes.
Okay. And do you know where he got the information from?
Ma'am, if only yes. That man knew so much about SAPS, about the underworld. I mean, it was his job. He was the head of the AGU. There was literally nothing you could ask him that he couldn't answer you on in these terms. If you mention the policeman to Andre Lincoln, he'd tell you that's a good guy. Nope, don't bother with that one. He was in terms of SAPS, he was a walking encyclopedia. That's why when he told me the dockets have been intercepted and it shouldn't have happened, I believed him without questioning him.
You said something earlier that he introduced you to Mr. Mogotsi on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were at his place. And he introduced Mr. Mogotsi as someone who is close to the minister. And as you were sitting there now, you said, now you know it was a lie, that Mr. Mogotsi is a friend of the minister.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which means when General Lincoln told you that Mr. Mogotsi is a friend of the minister, that was not correct. What General Lincoln told you was in fact not a fact.
I understand.
According to you.
Sorry. I understand that was wrong.
Okay.
And if I may, I do not think that General Lincoln lied. I think Brown Mogotsi misrepresented
Yeah, no. Let's not go there.
Sorry.
General Lincoln is not here to tell us about that telephone conversation, and I don't want us to speculate about Mogotsi. That's not the point of what I want to raise with you. Yesterday we went through the investigation diary, and it was shown to you that if you were told that your docket has been removed and is not being worked on, that is not correct, because on the very day that you laid your charge, there are notes that shows that someone was working on the docket, and I think you fairly accepted
yes,
that's what that docket indicated. Here's my proposition to you for your comment, that therefore, when General Lincoln, and if he did, say to you, your docket has disappeared on that day already when you laid a charge, that could not have been correct. He was mistaken about it, because we saw from the diary, at best he was mistaken. Two, he was misinforming you, because on the face of the diary, we do see entries that indicate that on the very day, and the 31st, in fact, work was happening on that docket. On that docket, would you be prepared to accept that? He may have been mistaken. He's not here to explain himself.
Or three, you are not telling us the truth about him having told you this at all.
Where do I start?
Answer all of them.
I'm going to grudgingly accept that my friend may have been wrong. And even as I say that, in the back of my head, I'm wondering if he was wrong. But before this commission and before what's placed in front of me, I have to accept your point. And to you, Chairperson, I'm not lying.
You see, the great problem, and I'm sure that's what Ms. Segal's movie is leading up to, the problem is there appears to have been unseemly haste about all of this. You've just laid a charge. You immediately rush off to Johannesburg to lay the same charges. There was just unseemly haste, as if there was something behind all of this. But you may comment if you want to.
Yes, Chair, I will. On the issues of policing and the safety of my community, there's never enough haste. There's never enough haste. That is why I respond immediately.
Your community being the South African populace, or who are you talking about when you say your community?
I'm talking about the Cape Flats where I reside, sir, where the war's on. There's never enough haste. Last night, I haven't checked the figures. I can tell you now, last night, 7 to 12 people died on the Cape Flats. There's never enough haste. So I understand your point, and I concede your point, that it might seem like it was in a hurry. But I try to get things done immediately. So I do concede, I consider what you're saying. And if I was sitting there talking to you, I might hold the same view. But if you see the view from where I'm standing, there's never enough haste. If I could have left on the same day, I would have.
Earlier you mentioned the airport in response to one of the questions by Ms. Sigals Ngube. Did I hear you correctly? I think you did mention the airport.
I mentioned receiving the contact at the airport, yeah.
Airport. Was that the same day you went to Orlando Police Station?
Yes, Chairperson.
Did you go to Orlando Police Station right from the airport, or did you first go somewhere else?
I think I might have stopped for a coffee because it was an early flight.
But you were bound, you were Orlando bound.
Yes, sir.
After landing, then your next stop, except for the
Yes,
coffee, was Orlando Police
Yes,
Station.
Chairperson.
Kempton Park, I'm sure it does have a police station, and the airport is right next door to Kempton Park.
Never been to Kempton Park, Chairperson.
No, but do you agree that it's right next door to?
Well, now that you tell me, I mean, if I'm a Cape Townian boy, Chairperson, I can tell you now the areas I know in Johannesburg, the areas I know, and I couldn't find it myself right now. Is Aldo's?
Let's not lengthen it, please. Let us not. You accept that OR Tambo International, is that where you landed? OR Tambo
Yes,
International?
Sir.
Yes. Do you accept that Kempton Park is right next door to Kempton Park?
I can't argue with that, Chairperson.
It is, it's a fact, and there is a police station in Kempton Park, right next door to OR Tambo. And it would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish, if for whatever reason you felt like leaving Cape Town and coming all the way to Johannesburg, more than 2 hours or about 2 hours on a flight to come lay your charges in Johannesburg. It would have been a matter of relative ease for you to just do some homework. Once I've landed, where's the nearest police station I can go to? Instead of just saying, oh, by the way, I happen to know that there is a police station somewhere that I once went to, regardless of how far it is from the airport. It would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish what's the nearest police station from the airport, was it not?
Yes, Chairperson.
It was. And
Yes.
you never engaged in that exercise.
Excuse me, Chair.
You never engaged in that exercise. You just chose to go all the way to the southern part of Johannesburg.
Chairperson.
Which Soweto is, which Orlando, which is in Soweto, is. Southern part. I won't say it's the furthest part of Johannesburg, but it's close to being one of the furthest parts of Johannesburg. That's your choice, instead of going to a police station right next door to OR Tambo International. That's what you chose.
Yes, Chairperson.
Instead of the relatively easy thing of finding out where's the nearest police station. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
And that brings us to the bigger question. What happened after Adams arrived in Orlando? Who was the contact that General Andre Lincoln directed him to? And what role did that person play in the case? And if Adams says he knew very little about Brown Mogotsi at the time, how did Mogotsi become connected to the events that followed? Those questions remain unanswered, but the next part of this testimony may shed more light on what was happening behind the scenes. You decide. This is South Africa Unfiltered, real talk, real opinions, and if you want to follow the next development, subscribe, hit that bell, and watch the next part.